Hello.
Good afternoon.
So, how are you today?
Yeah, it's been an interesting few days, that's for sure.
What's
I'm
happened?
feeling good. Well, all kinds of stuff, really. Where do we start, I suppose? Um, just a quickie on the comments from the last video. As you probably saw, 3 or 4 people were going on about this being boring, right?
Well, they don't have to
Yeah,
watch it if they don't want to, Nick.
exactly. They don't have to watch it. Now, what I would say to those people is this: look, the whole point of these videos, which is a combination of your normal videos that you do on a daily basis, together with the 3 chats that you're having, is that you're giving a good sort of overall picture of life in Spain, right?
Trying to.
Yeah, that's the general idea. And one of those things, of course, is the house buying process, right? Now, okay, I'm maybe not as fortunate as some of those people out there who have big fat wads of cash and they can just waltz in, buy a home, and splash the cash out and get their big paid lawyers involved and get the whole thing done in 48 hours. No, I'm just an ordinary guy trying to live his life down here, and I'm going through all the various pitfalls and problems that you go through. So I make no apologies.
Well, I'm going to say one thing, Nick. If you listen to every critic that wanted to give you advice on things, you wouldn't get out of bed in the morning, right?
I know. Anyway,
let's get up to speed with your your house.
Right. So if you remember, last week I had been to see this other bank, the Caja Rural del Sur, on Tuesday, and he was very, very positive. Now, I did leave there, though, just a little bit nervous about what the decision would be. And I just want to revisit the CERVE. Okay, so just to recap, this is the Central de Información de Riesgos del Banco de España.
Okay.
So effectively, it's the Risk Information Center, the Bank of Spain. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the idea is that any financial institution that gives credit in some form, whether it's via credit cards, loans, whatever, that amount to over 6,000, they are legally obliged to put that information into this online database. Therefore, it's accessible by everybody else. Okay?
Yep.
Now, on the face of it, actually, you would think, well, if you've got a credit history, then that would be a good thing, because institutions like to see that you've been, like in my case, I was given a couple of loans by CaixaBank. So I thought to myself, well, that's going to look good to anybody else looking at that information. Okay, the fact that CaixaBank deemed me a good credit risk,
credit-worthy, yeah.
Yeah. Now, so that holds true. However, when I was sitting down in the bank last week, they were talking about this. So he was asking me about these loans and the credit cards, and how much do I pay monthly? Okay, and that became a really important thing, because what he established with me is that there is this line, and they basically say the line is 35% of your net income. Now, some banks operate at a higher level, like 40%, but let's just say 35% seems to be the sort of the average line that people look at. In other words, he was asking me for evidence of my monthly payments in both scenarios, the loan from CaixaBank and my credit card payments. I have one credit card with a high limit. So what they look at then is they take those two amounts, in my case, those two amounts, then they add on what the mortgage repayment would be, and is that above or below the 35% of my net income? Okay. And let's be clear, as an autonomo, what we are talking about here, the net income is defined as this. It's last year's Declaración de la Renta.
Yep.
Okay. So they take, obviously, in your first line of your renta is your gross income, then minus your expenses, then minus the social security, and finally minus the income tax. That is your net income. And that's the figure that they look at. They divide it by 12 to get a monthly average. Okay. And therefore, they're basing their 35% on that figure.
Mm-hmm.
Mine turned out to be 39%.
So you're over.
I was over that line. So when I left, as much as the bank manager there was being very positive, and he used the word probable, not possible, yeah, I was very clear on establishing that. The fact is, he said to me, Nick, we should have an answer for you Thursday evening or going into Friday.
Last week.
Yes. Got to Friday evening and I'd heard nothing.
Well,
So I
maybe
want
you've
you
gone
to
on
imagine-
holidays like the lawyer.
Yeah, maybe. But I'd heard nothing. Imagine, over the course of the weekend, my head's going in a spin and I'm thinking, oh God, I've gone over that line. They don't like it. They all of a sudden and you know the stupid thing about it is that when I added up all the figures, their mortgage together with everything else, it was only going to cost me 38 euros a month more than what I'm paying now, right? So it's all going around in my head and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is going pear-shaped. So it was a bad weekend that I had, right? Full of nerves. And as you know, I'm an energetic person anyway, so you can imagine the state I was in. Yeah. I got a phone call Monday morning. Mr. Winter, nice to speak to you again. Your mortgage has been approved.
Wow.
And it's like, yeah, crack open the wine. Yes. So
well, congratulations. So you've got
thank
that. You've got that done and dusted.
yes, and today at 4:00, I went with my lawyer to visit the lawyer of the seller, and the seller turned up as well, the Stero lady, and yeah, we all signed the documents. The private contract has been signed. I paid the 10% deposit.
Good.
Yesterday, into the other lawyers. My lawyer's very good actually. I realise this now, and okay. Those viewers of yours who were saying, "Oh yeah, you should always get a lawyer," I agree with them because my lawyer is fantastic. He changed the contract, so instead of me paying the money to the seller, I've paid it into the account of the lawyer, the other lawyer. So it's now being held by the other lawyer until the moment we go to the notary office, which will be now on the 26th of November. So that's the moment of me signing the final papers, the deeds and everything, and getting the keys. So,
well, that's it. So it seems like it's a done deal.
It would seem, well, yes, really. Yeah. I mean, there's various issues. Like today they were talking about how they're going to sort out, the two lawyers, both of them were dealing with the electric, the EB, the community taxes, the water, how these things all get switched over and who becomes responsible for what payments at what time, right? So in other words, go on.
No, I was just going to say, have you got a community payment there? Is there a swimming pool, tennis court, things like that?
Yeah, there's a swimming pool and obviously all the gardens. I already know the community fees are going to be 115 per month.
Wow,
which is not bad.
Well, I don't know. It seems quite.
For down here,
maybe. It depends on what have you got, a doorman there as well? Some type of security service?
I don't think this is I'm not sure about the security service, but as I say, lots of gardens, the swimming pool, the place is well looked after. But what I would say is, don't forget, I did see 20 odd places, and quite a few of the community fees were 150, 200 a month.
Okay. So it's not bad compared to those.
Correct. Bearing in mind, I'm down here in the Costa del Sol, so I don't have much to compare with in terms of the rest of Spain. Okay, but certainly 115. Yeah, I can live with that. It's fine. So yeah, that's all gone very, very well. However, I do have a spanner in the works, and I have mentioned this to you before, not in the videos yet, but it needs to be talked about. By the way, just on the subject of wine, one of your viewers did mention a comment in the first video when we talked about Ithari wine.
Yep.
And he said, it's very unprofessional of me to be having a glass of wine in these videos. Now, I'm going to respond to him now and say, I'm not looking to be professional. I have no interest. I'm professional when I work. I'm here having a chat with you, Stuart, my mate, about life in Spain.
there's podcasts on the internet where people are drinking whiskey and smoking cigars and smoking. Elon Musk smoked a
Really?
joint on a YouTube video once. So as long as if we don't go down that path, we'll be okay. But
Yeah, I'm
nothing
sure.
wrong with a glass of wine, I don't think, Nick. No.
Speaking of drugs, by the way, saw a news article yesterday. There's a ship that goes regularly between Malaga. I don't know if it's Ceuta or Melilla, one of these, or it might be one of the ports in Morocco. It's called the El Mediterraneo or something.
Yeah.
The ship had to increase its speed to get into the Malaga port because a guy on the boat had consumed these packets of hashish he had.
Okay. Yeah. What he
And one of
swallowed
them had burst open,
Okay.
and he was unwell. Yeah, I mean,
I can imagine.
Yeah,
But it's
apparently these people that do the cocaine packets, they die from this if it breaks open.
Well,
but apparently,
yeah, with
Go on.
hashish, I don't think you're going to die because
No.
people are. I mean, if you go to Amsterdam, you can eat hash cookies and stuff like that,
Yeah.
hash brownies and stuff. So I don't think you're going to die from. Well, it depends on the quantity, I suppose. But
Yeah.
if you're not used to it, you're going to get a bit of a high, I suppose.
yeah. So this thing opened up. He was not feeling well, and the ship raced into the port of Malaga, whereupon, of course, he was arrested as soon as the ship docked and taken to hospital.
Well, actually, the Spanish have an expression for that. I think they call it bajarse al moro. And there was actually a film about it back in the 1980s or 1990s about a group of people that used to frequently drop down to Morocco and buy these little, I don't know what they call it in Spain. They call them like a little hashish egg. And they used to insert them in all parts of their body, wherever they could fit one, and bring them back. That's it.
There's a program on TV every Saturday, Sunday evenings here on the Mega channel. It's called Alerta Aeropuerto. And
Spanish airports?
No, it's mainly the airports of El Dorado in Colombia and the airport in Lima, Peru. But from a Spanish perspective, what is incredible is the amount of people who are getting onto the planes to come to Madrid, and they're trying to smuggle drugs, whether it's in their suitcases or in their bodies. And I don't get it. I mean, apart from the fact it's just, with all the modern technology, they're going to get caught. And if they put it in their bodies, this stuff, whether it's cocaine or whatever, it's actually dangerous. They're risking their lives doing this. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, I think we spoke about this last week, a bank robber that lost his leg. But people in desperate situations do desperate things, and I suppose if you've got debt, there's I don't know whether you watch Netflix much, but there's a show on at the moment called The Squid Game, which is taking the world by storm, and it's all about people that get into heavy debt and bad things happen to them in this program. I won't go into spoiler alert. I won't ruin people's viewing of the series, but desperate people do desperate things, basically. And if you're in those Latin American countries where there is a lot of production of these substances, I suppose the temptation is high.
Yeah, and look, it's quite obvious as well that people are being hoodwinked to a degree. When people are saying, "Look, this is a bottle of Coca-Cola or something," you won't have a problem with it. It's a 2-liter bottle. Put it in your suitcase, and you'll get through no problem. Meanwhile, inside the bottle is a package of cocaine or whatever. But the thing is, the scanners that they've got nowadays. They see all of this, Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if I feel sorry for them or, one side of me says I feel sorry for them that they're so desperate that they're taking that risk. Mm-hmm. But the other side of me says, look, you know what's going to happen. There's a very good chance you're going to get caught. And the sentences down there, by the way, they're heavier. They're getting banged up for between, 12 and 30 years.
In South America.
Yeah. I mean... you've got. I mean, I think what they say is like if you've got 32 capsules of cocaine in your body, you're going to get locked up for between 8 and 12 years. I mean, why take the risk? That's a major chunk of your life there gone.
Well, on this topic, and I mentioned it the other day in the videos, they've started the debate in Parliament here to legalise marijuana because there's a big black market trade down on the Costa del Sol. There's a lot of mafia groups apparently that are running drugs, and
Marbella.
Marbella, you've got places in Cadiz which are also under, heavily dominated by mafia groups that are running hashish from Morocco to Spain. And I read a few weeks ago that there was even, Eastern European gangs working in Spain running, trying to get into the drug market. So it's a big business here. And they're talking about
Marbella these days is known as Moscow by the Sea.
Well, apparently there's different mafia groups there. I also read somewhere that the Swedish mafia is there as well.
They are here, yeah.
There must be an attraction. Maybe it's the good weather. Maybe it's the way that Spain is policed. I've got no idea, but obviously it's a magnet for this type of group, and they're trying to talk about legalizing drugs like hashish, marijuana, etc., cannabis.
Well, you look at the Netherlands. Right? I mean, you don't hear of so many problems going on in the Netherlands. Hashish is legal there. Personal use is no problem. You don't hear so many stories of big major drug gangs and stuff, and people being shot and what have you. I mean,
but on the subject of that drug running, I mean, that's been around for a long time. Right? There was a film in the 1970s, I think, Midnight Express, or the 1980s, or whenever it was, about a guy that went to Turkey, got locked up. I think it was an American or a British guy. Australians have, always had a history of getting locked up in Bali and Thailand and all of these places there. So, I mean, it goes on everywhere,
Yeah, I mean, actually, the Control de Fronteras program as well. That's on DMAX. That's also at the weekends. They've caught quite a few people, the drug runners in the boats coming from Morocco across the Straits of Gibraltar.
There's a lot of
arriving in close to Algeciras. There's a lot of that goes on.
Well, apparently in summer you can be sitting on a beach there, and one of these boats just sort of drives up onto the sand, and people jump out with run off. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, that happened in. There was a couple of photos of that in the news article about Tarifa. She's just down there. Down from here. And that's exactly what happened down there last summer. I remember.
That's it. So we've got a bit off track. We started talking about your mortgage, then we went on to drugs. But the other thing that you wanted to mention today was the €250 that Mr. Sanchez has promised to young people so that they can emancipate, right?
Yeah. Now this is a news item that actually I like.
You like it?
I think it's a.
Well, he's gone a step further. He's gone a step further today, and he's announced that everybody in Spain, when they turn 18, they're going to get a €400 check.
Okay, but that's only a one-off. It'll help.
It's a one-off.
Yes, it's great. It's great. It's a one-off. But I like this idea. Look, there are actually quite a number of people that I know, especially through the theatre, young Spanish people, who live their lives almost in a state of desperation because they find it hard to imagine being able to leave their family home, right? Just getting off the starting block and being able to actually get your life on the go on your own terms. They find it so difficult, and I have a lot of sympathy for them. So there, the announcement is that under 35-year-olds who are earning up to $23,725 per annum, which, let's face it, that is going to cover most of them, especially down here in Andalusia. Well, I don't know about Madrid.
I think around the whole of the country, yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought so, yeah.
Well, maybe not up to 35, but the 18 to 25s definitely.
Certainly, yeah. So they can get this just straight allowance of €250 per month for up to 2 years.
Yep.
So you imagine, I mean, again, I don't know what the rents in Madrid are like and in other places. Down here, I know that, a one-bedroom apartment down here on average to rent, and I'm going to exclude Marbella in this because Marbella, again, is just, it's a different animal. Okay,
it's all taken up by the Russians and the Swedes.
Yeah, exactly. But everywhere else, you're talking really anything between sort of 400 up to, let's say, 600, 650 a month for a one-bedroom apartment is the average sort of rental fee. So if you're going to get 250 a month off the government, you've actually got, now it changes your mathematics. Now you're thinking, well, actually, I only need to be able to provide half that myself, and I can kickstart my whole life here.
Yep.
Because for young people, it's important that they, actually can leave home and just get that whole sense of independence and build their lives in their way.
Yeah, well, it's actually important for the economy. And I remember listening to a Nobel Prize winning economist once, and he said that one of the big problems in the south of Europe was because people do leave the home so late, they're not contributing to the economy like people are in other countries, right? So if you leave home when you're 18 or 19 or 20, get a job, you start paying your own electricity bills, you start paying your own water bills, you might need to get a car. There's more hunger to try to find, there's more, what am I trying to say here? People are more, hungry. They're hungrier for work, they're out there trying to get a job. And you become a more of an active involvement in the economy, Nick.
You're going to be a contributor, and you'll want to be, it's interesting as well, because apparently, on average, people in Spain don't leave home until 4 years later than the European average, which is it's quite a number, really, when you think about it. So I just think, I think it's a great announcement. There's a lot of stuff that old Mr. Sanchez has done that I thought, oh God, I'm not so sure about that. But this one is a good announcement.
this one you're in favour of.
Oh, big time. I think it's a cracking one. So I know we're running out of time, aren't we, this week?
We've got to wrap it up. Yep.
Yeah, the only thing I've got to say is I have to tell you, yesterday I got another embargo on my bank account from our friends, the Agencia Tributaria.
All right.
And this embargo is for a debt that I actually paid off last month. And I look forward to telling the story about this maybe next week.
All right. We'll look forward to that one, Nick. So we'll wrap it up, because I've got a bit of a time constraint today. So we'll wrap it up, but we'll be in contact for next week, okay?
Yeah, all right then. Take care.
All right, Nick. Have a good one. See you later.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.